At Volvo, we have an undying passion for doing things for a reason. To understand why we do what we do, you just need to remember these 4 simple letters: VIVA. Volvo Intelligent Vehicle Architecture. It's a unique approach to building cars that integrates everything from the car's crashworthiness to its dynamic styling and exciting driving characteristics. And it informs every car that rolls off the line. We've more recently put a name to it, but the seeds of Viva have been sown at Volvo since the very beginning. For decades, this philosophy has brought to life cars that are well crafted, cars that keep us safe, and cars that are beautiful. The XC60 is the natural outcome of our commitment to these values.
Well, when it comes to our DNA, what we wanted to do is also give it a stronger presence on the road, on the marketplace. There are obviously a number of ways you can do that. The important thing is that the customer, for example, out there, notices the car from a further distance. That means increasing the visual volume, intensifying some of the design language, some of the features, making them stronger, bolder, more expressive. Looking at the visual identity of the vehicle, looking at the branding. As you can see here, it's a lot larger, bolder, getting the strength that it deserves. We've also at the same time taken away the box and given it this matte aluminium finish. Now the iron mark, together with the diagonal, is now incorporated in the new trapezoid grille. So this gives our car even a stronger identity and a fresher look from the front. We want to keep the DNA, develop it, but at the same time give it a dramatic new approach. And how are we going to do that? Well, one of the first points is to give our vehicles a stronger face. It starts off with what we call the DNA lamp. Now the new unique DNA lamps not only give us a stronger brand recognition and visual identity daytime and nighttime, they're also there to emphasize the DNA that we have. The verticality of the front end at one point, but also the V shape, which is coming down from the A-pillar down towards the grille. Now, if we look at the headlamp itself, a lot more expressive. You can see a lot more direction, attitude, expression on the front end, but also attention to detail, which is very important. Some very interesting form language and a very interesting play then with the angles, the shapes, and the surface development. Now the headlamps are really pulled up onto the fender. That actually helps disguise the volume to the front end and gives a very interesting flow then into the actual shoulder. Together with the truncated plan shape, that really helps foreshorten that front overhang, giving the car a sporty, dynamic look. Now as we move around the car, you can see the shoulder interpreted in a slightly new way, very strong and muscular. Now that is actually accentuated this time with an undercut, starting then here at the front fender, blending out as it works down the side of the vehicle. As we walk to the rear, you'll see the angled rear lamps, the way the graphic is then of the C-pillar, the way the beltline kicks up, all emphasizes the stance and the dynamics of the vehicle. Here with the use of the LED technology and then this macro optic flag, you can really see those shoulders emphasized. Now, really lighting up the whole sculptural rear end of the car. This is emphasized also by the use of taking the shutline graphic of the rear tailgate out and then tucking it in at the bottom with a trapezoid form, very reminiscent of the front end. And you can see that same connection and harmony with the way we've actually treated the sculptural elements here on the bumper. So a lot of very interesting form language. To really give the car a slightly wider appearance, you can see this line with a very slight little recess here, emphasizing the width and connecting that rear lamp graphic to give a certain solidity. And then the integral spoiler, this time with this very interesting, unique way of incorporating the third brake light. A lot of sculpture, something very unique. And of course, not to forget the Volvo text. just like on the front of the car, giving the brand identity a stronger positioning, spacing it out larger.
One of the great things about designing in the interior of a car is actually looking at the exterior and what's going on the outside of the car. Steve Matting was really strong and adamant of how he wanted the face of the car, the exterior of the car to look. And we noticed that strong faces, things that people that you were most familiar with, had an asymmetry about them. If you take, for example, Sean Connery has a very raised eyebrow in some of the Bond films, and Robbie Williams, for example, curls his lip up when he's on stage. So we took that into the interior of the car and decided to make an asymmetrical instrument panel. We always wanted this cockpit feeling, this feeling of very much in control. It's very apparent when you sit inside the car that we've taken the center stack and we've actually angled that towards the driver that we never did before, and that gives you a self-confidence, everything towards the driver, leaning in to give this driver dynamic. And what we wanted to do actually with the XC60 was take it a little bit higher, give a little bit more luxury feeling, and actually use the center stack to give this Scandinavian feeling, but also to give this asymmetry, self-confidence, performance feeling of an interior, and give that absolute driver dynamic for the XC60.
Can the safest Volvo ever also be the most beautiful? And is that fair?